If you're watching this video, then that means that you exist. And if you exist, then that means you have a purpose. And you may not know what your purpose is, and you're wanting to find out. And if you've clicked on this video, then obviously you want to find out. So I'm going to share with you 3 things that you can do to find your purpose. And the first thing to do is to set the intention to find your purpose. And this is because setting intentions is powerful. So set the intention and declare it to the universe that you want to find your purpose. And then what you can do is you can also meditate on it and see what comes up. So when we meditate, what we do is we disconnect from the outer world and we put the attention on our inner world. And when we put the intention on our inner world, this is where we can connect to our higher self. So we all have a higher self. Most people don't realize that, they have a higher self, and it can be a bit esoteric, this sort of thing. But we do, and I know we do because I've been able to connect with my higher self. And so we have a higher self that operates in 6D, which is 6 density. And we operate in 3D or 4D, third density or 4th density. And if you want to learn more about that, like the higher self and being the 6th density version of you, then you can read the books, The Law of One. That's where this information comes from. And so when you meditate, you connect with your higher self. And your higher self already knows your purpose because everything was planned out before you came here. Your soul in the spirit world planned everything out, including your purpose and why you are here. And your higher self knows this. So set the intention, meditate on it, connect to the higher self, and your higher self will guide you and help you to get on that path that will lead you to finding your purpose. Now, the second thing to do is to ask yourself what excites you. Find out what excites you, because the things that excite you are linked to your passion and purpose. And Bashar also says, Bashar's this very well known in the spiritual community. He's an alien being that's channeled by a man called Daryl Anka. I think that's how you say his last name, Anka, A-N-K-A. And Bashar says that basically whatever excites you is communication from your higher self. So find out what excites you and do that. If you don't know what excites you the most, or you may have heaps of different things you're interested in and you don't know which one to pick, then what you do is try as many different things as you can until you find the thing that excites you the most. And think of it like ice cream flavors. How do you know your favorite ice cream flavor? You find out by tasting all these different ice cream flavors, and then you figure out, I like this one the best. So it's the same idea. Try out different things that interest you and find the one that excites you the most. So for me, I did the same thing. I tasted many different things. In my younger days, I used to draw a lot. I was really good at drawing. I haven't done artwork in many years, but I have a little bit of a feeling to get it back into doing some artwork. I just feel like I want to get creative. But I've also done things like cake decorating. I got really good at cake decorating and was wanting to pursue it. And then I decided not to for a number of reasons. I also got into rapping. I did rap battles. I've put out a mixtape. I've just tried the things that interest me. Spirituality being another one. I started learning about spirituality after having a proper spiritual awakening in 2019. And I found this is another thing that interests me as well, which is why I started up the YouTube channel. So you just try out different things until you figure out the one that excites you the most or the one that feels right for you. And the third thing to do is I recommend using the Ikigai. And you may be like, what the heck is an Ikigai? This is a really cool thing. It's a Japanese concept, and Ikigai basically means a reason for being. And so I'm going to show you a picture of the Ikigai so you can see what I'm talking about. And as you can see, there are 4 elements to it. You've got these questions here that says what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. And so you use this as a guide to figure out what your purpose is. The ikigai is that sweet spot in the middle, and it's the answer to all 4 of those questions. I use the ikigai, and that is what led me to starting up a YouTube channel and creating spiritual-based content. That was my ikigai when I answered those 4 questions. So I highly recommend using it as a great tool that will help you to find your purpose. Now, I wanted to point out that you may be interested in something, but you may have a bit of fear or self-doubt about starting, or starting something you've never done before, or being new, or being a beginner. And realize this: all beginners suck. We all suck when we try something for the first time, when we're new at it, and that's just part of it. So embrace that. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to step into the unknown, and don't be afraid to start. I'm going to use an example, one of my examples, to share with you so you understand what I'm saying. So here's a picture of one of the first cakes I ever did. Like, I had this interest to do cake decorating, and I had this interest since I was a child. And so this is one of my first cakes I've ever done. And as you can see, it's a bit messy, like it's not really that great. But I started, I gave it a go. And then I continued to pursue making cakes. And I did all sorts of different cakes, and I started getting better, and I started upping my skills. And then 3 years after doing that cake, I decided I wanted to remake it because I knew my skills had improved so much. So I'm going to show you the original cake and then also the remade cake 3 years later. And as you can see, I sucked when I started. It was messy, and then the cake I did 3 years later, my skills had improved so much. So that's the point I'm making, is don't be afraid to start, and don't be afraid of sucking as a beginner. Expect to not be that good at it. The first time will always be the worst, and you can only get better from there. But you've got to start, and you've got to continue doing it to get good. It all comes down to practice. So if there's something that excites you, step into the unknown, give it a go. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't live your life based off the opinions of other people, because if you live your life that way, you will end up this old person on your deathbed that's full of regrets. Find the things that interest you, give it a go, see how it works out, and realize that within time you can get really good at something. It just comes down to practice. I hope you like this video, guys. If you got some sort of value out of it, let me know by giving me a thumbs up or write a comment. And if you like this sort of content, then subscribe and hit the bell notification. Hope you have an awesome day. Peace.